driver for HVM Racing, the 2010 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year, Simona Di Silvestri. In 1980, five-time Indy 500 qualifier Rich Vogler, our inductee in the open wheel category, was the first driver to capture both the USAC Sprint and Midget titles in the same season.
There's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and it looks...
Presenting Rich Vogler for induction this evening is veteran ESPN announcer Gary Lee.
Said it's easy to write a long speech, it's difficult to be brief. I don't know if talking from the heart makes it easier. We saw some clips of the Saturday Night Thunder shows on ESPN, and there were those that said that Thunder made the drivers, and I disagree. It was the drivers that made Thunder, and no one had more impact on Thunder than Rich Vogler. In fact, one of his biggest fans is a former inductee in this hall, Dale Armstrong Sr. Dale told me, he said, "Gary, I make no plans the night before a NASCAR race. I go back to the motor coach and I dial in that satellite dish and I watch Thunder to see what Rich Vogler's doing." Another NASCAR standout, Neil Bonnet, said to one of our pit reporters, "You tell that Rich Vogler he's my hero." Well, Rich Vogler has become a hero to an entire generation that never watched Rich Vogler race. He's the winningest open-wheel driver in USAC history. But I want to talk about something that happened after his career that I think brings Rich great joy, great satisfaction, and great pride. Over the past 20 years, over 350 students have received the Rich Vogler Scholarship. Financial aid to do something that Rich couldn't do, go to college. You see, for Rich, school was difficult. He struggled. He had ADD, he was dyslexic, and he struggled just to get the GED. And I think that made Rich a better race driver. He had a chip on his shoulder. He had something to prove. But boy, at a certain point, he turned the tables. And that classroom that had been a racetrack was all his. He no longer was the student, he was the teacher. And the cockpit of that race car was his lectern. And when Professor Richard Frank Vogler strapped in, we all knew we were about to get taught a lesson. Perhaps his friend Mark Alderson said it best. He said, "When we lost Rich, we lost our yardstick. We no longer knew how good we were, because with Rich, we could measure up against the best." And Rich, you may have struggled to get that GED, but in motorsports, you earned your PhD, and a whole lot of respect along the way. And I'm so thrilled and pleased to be here this evening with Rich's family. They're really the backbone of the Vogler Scholarship, that his legacy will live on college campuses throughout the country. His wife, his sons here this evening, his sister, a niece and nephew. And now this lady I want to introduce, I sometimes call her Mom, because Rich was only 4 months older than I worked with her for many, many years. We're all here because we love racing, and we all come from different disciplines, but there is that racing fraternity, that one fiber that runs through us. And I'll say this, nobody should have to give to racing what this woman has given. Her husband Donald in a midget, her son Richard in a sprint car. Despite that, she works tirelessly on behalf of the Rich Vogler Scholarship. And if there is ever a Hall of Fame for the families of race drivers, she will be an early inductee. Please welcome with your warm applause Rich's mom, Eleanor Vogler.
I know Richard would be so terribly honored to add this to accolade to his resume, or what you want to call it. He'd be so proud, terribly proud, as is the rest of the family, Emily, his wife, Dale, his sister, his 3 boys, DJ, Eric, and Nick, his nephew, John Tesla, his niece, Angela Tesla. We all rooted for him always. His dad, if he was here, he always was proud of him. He always knew that he would be the best. Naturally, I'm prejudiced. Of course, I'm so very, very proud. But I think Richard would want me to thank the people that helped him on his way. After all, I mean, he did a lot of stuff, but there were the car owners. If he didn't have them, he didn't have his crew, he didn't have the people to watch. But I'd like to thank some of his car owners. There were so many. But I'd like to ask to name a few: Jonathan Bird, the Stryker family, the Hoffmans, of course, the Wilkies, Doug Carruthers, which was very, very special. Got a championship for him, I think the first year he drove. The Seymours. Hoosier Tire was always in back of him, always helping. I have to add Valerie